All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Associated Guest. I, as always, am your host, Alfie Animus, here at the Bear in Mind channel. Today, we're just going to talk about voter ID. I wanted to have this be a longer format show, but as always, I ran out of time, and I apologize. So we're just going to get straight into it. Voter ID, why we need it, and why I've never heard an argument that isn't racist against the need for voter ID in this country.
And specifically minorities support voter ID. And this brings me back to three issues for which I have never heard a single valid counter argument. And these are not small issues.
No,
right?
absolutely not.
Deporting illegals, illegal aliens who are also violent felons currently incarcerated in the United States. You have people who have gone to court, liberals who have gone to court, leftists who have gone to court and said, no. We are going to present an argument as to why we should not deport violent, felon, illegal aliens in our prisons. I ask you, why? I've never heard a case. School vouchers, that's the second one. Attach the funding to the student instead of the school. We're not even talking about cutting funding. Guarantee you once we do it and see schools compete and the schools are better, we probably could be more efficient with funding. But I'm just talking about starting with, instead of going, this money goes to this district, regardless of performance, the student can choose their school and the funding follows them. I've never heard a valid counter argument. Please tell me, those who oppose it, why. And voter ID. Identification to vote. There are those who have gone to court and fought it. Why? Now, I will tell you the only argument that I have heard on all three.
Real quick, if you're in the Dallas DFW area, I just saw this post. It has to do with this from Sheldon Daniels. I apologize if I'm getting that wrong. For Congress, I'm black. I'm American. I have a DD 214. That means he's been in the military and got out. I have a law degree. I own a company. I'm running for Congress. But dadgummit, I cannot seem to figure out how to obtain a valid ID to save my life. Pass the SAVE Act. Yo, what's going on, Shapeshifters? Good to see you. Yeah. I'm going to see if I'm in this guy's district and see what I can do to help him. I love snarkiness. I love sarcasm. Especially when it's not overly mean-spirited and fun like he's doing. So, he's got my vote.
Of these issues consistently from people sitting right here in the studio with me is literally racism. That's it. School vouchers, racist because black kids may not have parents who will drive them to better schools in the suburbs. Well, right now they're stuck with one school anyway.
It'll disproportionately benefit black.
But their argument is racism. Deporting illegal aliens who are violent criminals in prison, they go, racism. Okay? And then voter ID. Well, no, we don't need voter ID because Hispanics and blacks can't get they can't get ID.
Which this has been the argument for at least the past decade. And it's so racist to assume that people who are basically just not white don't know where the DMV is, can't access the internet to find out, and aren't smart enough to get it on their own. This is what you hear from white liberals in blue cities all across the country. Not that different from the people who are currently burning and pillaging said blue cities.
Okay. The problem is that none of those minorities you claim to be protecting, you claim to be acting on their behalf, they don't agree with those making those arguments. And again, I've never heard anything beyond racism.
Yeah.
Remember, this is an issue that we have been on forever, and now it's making the rounds.
And this isn't like people crying racism every time something happens that they don't like. I'm talking mostly about white liberals when I say that. This is actually racism. Some of the things that these, again, white liberals say when you ask them about voter ID and why it's bad, you'll hear some of the most racist shit you've ever heard. Just like when you talk about deporting illegals, you'll hear some of the dumbest shit because people don't know the difference between legal and illegal because they don't know how to use adjectives when it's against their own cause. But hearing like, who's going to pick your fruit? Who's going to do this? And throw out the most stereotypical racist assumptions of what the Hispanic community especially would do for an occupation in America. They want these people to remain illegal. They do not want them to be citizens. They want cheap labor. They want their votes. They want them counted in the census. Do not be confused. That is all this is.
Including this changed my mind from 2021. I guess we have a clip.
My concern is about ensuring the integrity of our elections, the legitimacy. And so for me, I think the only way to protect our 15th Amendment rights, right, the right to vote, and it shouldn't be infringed, is to ensure that no legitimate vote is wiped out by an illegitimate vote. If someone doesn't have photo ID that confirms who you, how would you ever have evidence of it? If you don't require ID, it's like saying, we don't have any evidence that any underage people have ever consumed alcohol, but the law across the land is you don't need to present ID for alcohol. Well, we'd never have evidence, would we?
Right. Yeah.
You can go back and watch that.
That's a good point.
In the description. The reason this is back in the news is because of the SAVE Act. It's the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act right now. And this law would basically require, certainly in national, federal elections, people have ID, prove that they are American citizens.
As you should, because we are the only civilized country in all of the world, really, that does not require voter ID, any kind of ID. And I think he's going to play a clip later, so I'm not going to get into it now, but just wait.
We just want you to... We just want to make sure that you are who you say you are. That's it. So, then we're going to get to some polling data, which may surprise you. But Nicki Minaj posted this on X and, of course, was met with all kinds of backlash from these completely invalid counter-arguments. Again, I've still not seen one, and I've heard some convincing arguments where people will argue on abortion. I've heard some convincing arguments that people will make, for example, on marginal tax rates. I've heard some convincing arguments from people saying we shouldn't fight a war on drugs. I've heard convincing arguments for and against.
And just so everyone knows, I equally push back as much against conservatives on their political views as I do my side, the liberal side. I always push back and make sure that you have to, as a conservative, if you want to change hearts and minds, you have to have a secular, that means a non-religious reason to believe in the laws that you wish to push. Especially if you're a politician. If you're just some kind of news analyst, but even Ben Shapiro does this, which is why every time people say that the right's moving further to the right these days, I just have to guffaw. You clearly aren't old enough to remember what it was like 20 years ago. Not that it was horrible, but they've come a long way. We have to admit this.
Capital punishment. I've not heard anything even close to approaching convincing on no voter ID. Please let me know. And I mean that because I will be looking through these to see if someone
not only nothing convincing, but nothing that's not racist.
Said, what sensible, forward-thinking, cutting-edge leading nation is having a debate on whether or not there should be voter ID? Like, question mark.
I just feel like there should be commas and maybe a period in that first sentence.
Exclamation. They're actually fighting not to have people present ID while voting for your leaders. Do you get it? Do you get it now? Yeah, and by the way, this is how people feel. This is what people think when they find out about this.
I never thought I'd say Nicki Minaj was based in my life, but there she is.
Because they're dyed-in-the-wool leftists, or I encounter people, and this means thousands of people across Change My Minds, across talking with people. When I go and perform live, it's either the first one, racism, or the second group of people go, what? We don't have any ID requirements for vote? When did this?
And just real quick, sorry. Just notice that when someone leaves the cult of the hard left, the one where you're all partisan hacks, who don't believe anything that isn't the party line thought process, just realize how awful people are. They will try to destroy you. Whereas if you're on the right, that doesn't really happen if you disagree. Not because you disagree. Now, if you go crazy like Candace Owens, where you just become a conspiracy theory show, you make Alex Jones look calm and rational. And I mean the Alex Jones of 10 years ago. He's gotten a lot calmer of late. And I hear he's a nice guy. But and also Tucker Carlson, who, what country was it in? I think it was Iran, where they were playing Tucker Carlson's propaganda on the big TVs in Iran, in Tehran, I think it is, when they were having the big blackout for the protesters. It's crazy. He's beloved by all the wrong people: Russia, Venezuela, Iran, Qatar, what have you say it.
It's happened. That is the reaction. This bill is so popular right now that CNN's Harry Enton, my favorite person, I don't care if he's a communist, couldn't contain his excitement. Let's go.
Look at the net approval ratings for Republicans.
I do love this guy.
This shutdown has Donald Trump support at all. Look where we are now. It's a complete flip.
That's my favorite
So
scene from Home Alone.
People understand is the idea that someone shows a photo ID when they go to vote, when they go to cast their actual ballot, but the polling is all on voter ID showing an ID to vote.
Show
Yes.
photo ID to vote, and the American people are with Nicki Minaj, because what are we talking about here? So take a look here. Favor voter ID to vote. Look, I got all this polling on the screen going back since 2018. You'll notice on all of it, it's all north of 75%, 76%, 76%, 76%, 81%, and then 83% in the last year.
I feel for the guy who has to fill in the little green lines for everything that this awesome lunatic does on the show. He's the best part of CNN. Give this guy a raise. Make him the highest paid person on there.
Of Americans agree with
I don't care what he
Nicki Minaj.
believes in.
They favor
He's fantastic.
photo ID to be able to vote. 95% of Republicans,
He
pretty
keeps
much all,
going.
but even 71% of Democrats favor photo ID to vote. So again, Nicki Minaj posting that on X, and what you see is that the American people actually, it's not really all that controversial. The American people are with Nicki Minaj, whether they are Republican or even if
that a
they are
grown-up
Democrats.
thing to do?
We're talking about 7 in 10 Democrats agreeing with Nicki Minaj that you, in fact, should show a vote.
Because of course you should. Because we have to know who you are. Considering the amount of things you have to do with ID. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself. I know it's coming. Shh. It's okay. Please subscribe.
Photo ID to vote.
By the way, if that guy's coming over for Thanksgiving, I give him a seat at the head of the table.
There you go.
Yeah, he's got to say grace.
I'd be like, everyone just let Enton cook.
Jesus.
Let him go.
I'd be very excited about whatever he talks about.
Wow.
I want him
Turkey,
narrating my
you
entire
gotta
Thanksgiving.
deep fry your turkey. Wow.
Whoa, pumpkin pie. Look at this. They made their own whipped cream.
Oh, boy. None of that Cool Whip. It's homemade. So everyone supports it. And we'll get to the racial demographics there, too. Well, I should say everyone, except the Senate Democrats who threatened a filibuster. And by the way,
Over
this is,
voter
I
ID.
believe,
Never would I
they're
thought
threatening
seeing Trump
the
and Nicki Minaj
longest
on stage.
filibuster
I mean-
since, opposing the Civil Rights Act.
We will talk about that.
No, I'm not smoking.
And determine
I've been
whether or
really
not
careful
they're-
lately.
what the conference's views are about it and how they want to proceed.
Look at how ghoulish these people are. Like, why? He's just like, you never talk about me anymore. Anyway, sorry.
As I said, we will vote on the SAVE Act, but exercising or triggering a talking filibuster has ramifications, implications that I think everybody needs to be aware of. So we will have those discussions, but that's obviously ties the floor up for an indefinite amount of time.
It's not just that they have a disagreement, like they're willing to die on this hill, figuratively, they're willing to die on this hill to ensure that no one needs to present ID to vote.
Right.
Please, and yes, I'm frustrated this morning.
Understandably.
Give me a why.
This is a dumb
Any why.
talking point.
I'll even accept racism if you substantiate it somehow.
Like, seriously.
That's the point, I guess.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it. And so this should be the end of the segment. But just to make sure we put this one to bed as to remove all doubt, let's go through a claim truth.
Or like, my wife left me. What am I doing here?
All right, so the first claim that I have seen from the left, it's voter ID racist.
Rather than changing their message, they're busy trying to change the rules.
It's not changing the rules.
We are
It's enforcing the
right
rules.
now a massive
And that's
and
that's one of the things I don't respect about the left. They keep saying you're trying to change the rules only when you're trying to enforce said rules. And I'm not even a big stickler for the rules, except when it comes to government.
Assault on voting rights, unlike anything we've ever seen since the Jim Crow era.
Ah.
This is Jim Crow in new clothes.
This is a dude that was raised in the suburbs.
I guess Jim Crow went to the Gap.
Banana Republic.
Jim Crow got a nice bomber jacket.
Yeah.
You're gonna like the way you look.
Jim Crow and Robert Byrd got some new threads. Got some new kicks. Same old son of a. Here's the truth. Of course not. Of course not. The SAVE Act is popular among all racial groups by an increasing amount year over year.
Yes. Are we going back to Harry Hinton for this? Yes, we are.
Right? Because I think a lot of people make the argument that people of color, non-white Americans, have a harder time procuring a photo ID.
They should have got this guy to play Ezra Bridger. I don't know why. I just want him to. Or was it Kanan from Star Wars Rebels? I just want to see more of this guy in all the places.
To vote. But even here, take a look here. Favorite photo ID to vote. 85% of white people favor it. 82% of Latino. 76% of Black Americans favor it. So the bottom line is this. Voter ID is
Why'd
not
you circle that one, Harry?
in this country. A photo ID to vote is not controversial.
Pause real fast. It is not. That number in 2020, white was 70% support, Hispanic was 66%, and black was 56%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay?
They have moved massively.
So year over year, more and more and more and more and more people who are Hispanic and black, and by the way, with a disproportionate increase, supporting voter ID. Maybe they don't like their votes being stolen from them. Let's finish the clip.
That was 2020.
Yeah.
2020.
That was 2020.
Yeah.
Do we know what month?
I don't know the month.
Ooh, because if it's before November, or if it's yeah.
Yeah, it would be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet that contributes.
Controversial by party, and it is not controversial by race. The vast majority of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj that, in fact, you should have a photo ID to be able to vote.
So something of a non-controversy, in other words.
That's very good. The alliteration of Mr. John Berman, that Harvard education, paying off once again.
Harold, and thank you.
That is passive aggressive.
That was fantastic.
Thanks for stealing my thunder, you piece of shit. But I love working with you.
Oh, no. I'm going to...
Enton said that line in like a run through or like.
I'm absolutely going to have a Valentine's Day episode. I don't know if it's going to be romantic, but it'll definitely be on Valentine's Day.
Handler, did you know she used to do that? She would have you submit you would submit your notes before her show, which was pre-taped. You'd submit your notes on the topic, and she would take the best ones, and then she would say it while you were live on air. Well.
That does not surprise me.
So clever. Hey, how many guys has she slept with? Oh, it's a funny shtick.
Who's got notes on that?
It's a lot.
Yeah. Chelsea Handler, my God.
Oh, I ski with my tits out. Oh, it's funny. Look at that.
Jim Henson. If Chelsea Handler came out of Jim Henson's creature.
Yeah, Chelsea Handler walked, so Amy Schumer can
Amy
wheeze.
Schumer just comes out.
Oh, he said Amy Schumer too. That's awesome. I forgot about that.
I need these balloons to smack.
Oh,
Yeah, don't have to.
sorry, skip the ads.
Off your and 82%, whatever it was, 76% of black people.
I hear it's great coffee. I am actually going to order some just to test it out.
Democrats were going to filibuster.
Oh my gosh.
That brings us to the next claim. It is still the same one. I'm just trying to be thorough here. Check the references that minorities, they're not able to get IDs because, well, this is again the left because minorities they're too dumb to do it.
Which is literally what they say without saying it.
Almost 4 times more likely to be without that form of ID than white adult
So happy.
citizens. For lots of the very same communities, like communities of color, that have far more valid reasons for feeling they're not being invited into the process and that they are being targeted and shut out.
Yeah.
You remember vote?
And she knows this from all the, non-white people that she's always around. This sounds like someone who has never met anyone outside their own race, except for, Bob from the neighborhood. These are people who say these kinds of things have never met anyone that does not look like them. Whereas I come from a small town in Arkansas, and it was surprisingly diverse. Not even joking.
Vote or die?
Yeah.
Yes.
By that weird sex party oil slathering P. Diddy?
Who said, what is Sarah Palin going to do about South Korea? Man, I be tripping.
Right, yo.
I be tripping. Proactive, your boy Diddy.
Vote or die.
Yeah. Vote
Yeah.
or die. Like, that's
Yeah, and that's another thing. Aw. Well, I mean, he'd have to be a hell of a guy. But no, yeah, P. Diddy, remember, I think it was Bush's second election, P. Diddy did the vote or die thing. And it was not controversial. Because they know how to get ID. Because they're people. Of course.
Sounds like a threat.
Yeah.
Not because you're black, but partially because you're black.
Sounds like an invitation to me.
Yeah, it does. It does. So here's the thing. Not only do an overwhelming majority of black and Hispanic Americans support voter ID, here's the truth. 94% of black Americans and Hispanic Americans have photo ID.
Son of a gun.
So,
Yeah.
That's something else they do.
Because it's easy to get. I mean, it's not easy. The DMV is a horrible experience for everybody.
What they're saying now is they're actually far more likely to not have it. Well, hold on. Are you including people who are here illegally? Is that because 94% seems pretty high. Here's what you need an ID to do in this country: to drive, to register a car, to buy alcohol or tobacco, to rent an apartment, to buy a home, to pay utilities, to obtain government benefits for whatever it is. And
Oh, yeah, he's like, vote or die, what does that mean? What you think it means, bitch.
And of
Vote or
course,
die,
the hotel room.
motherfucker. Vote
I
or
had
die.
no idea what soaking was. Son.
Yes.
He keeps it in his merce.
Okay, sorry, I got.
Person at TS.
I gotta skip past some of the jokes. I'm running out of time.
Here's the next claim. It's
It's
still the same thing, racism. They just sort of they tell you that voter ID it's the disenfranchising is what's going to happen or something.
The reason Democrats don't want voter ID.
Pause.
Oh, God, her.
Pause, son of a bitch, pause. I was only made aware of this today.
That her face doesn't match her neck?
There is an extended podcast of The View. It's, in other words, there are some people in this country who have said, I don't have enough of The View in
But
my
yeah, no,
life.
vote or die was real.
I need the lesser version of The View in a podcast form, and it was given to them.
What's it called?
The View, behind the table.
Behind the table.
Hopefully not the view under the table.
Yeah, I know. Someone's
I
like, I
don't
want to
think I
know.
wanna see that back.
I want to see behind the. I want the reverse shot of The View.
I feel like there should be a colon in there.
All right, let's watch. Started from the top, but it's just
Not
I can't believe it.
because it's their back and a colon is.
The reason
You know what I
Democrats don't
mean?
want
The
voter
punctuation.
ID is because they make it much more difficult for elderly people, people that don't travel, don't have a passport.
That's not true.
Poor people that don't have cars, don't have driver's licenses. So it's sort of a vestige.
And this is what I wanted to point out. You have to have ID no matter what. Even if you don't have a car, Mrs. bats her eyes when she says something stupid. You have a state ID. You are required to carry a state ID, as you should, so we know who you are. So you can't lie to police and then inevitably be proven wrong. You have to be identifiable. If you don't have a car, you don't have a driver's license. There are still non-driver's license state IDs that you have to carry and that are, I'm pretty sure, cheaper.
Of, I think, post-slavery laws.
This just goes to show you. And by the way, Sunny Hostin found out that she was the descendant of slave owners a few years back, and I still think that's fucking hilarious. I'd pull it up, but I don't have time.
Voter ID laws allows more people to vote. And most democracies do it that way. We're the only ones that really don't do it that way.
That's the opposite of the truth.
It almost sounds like she was support.
We are literally the only ones that don't require it. Because retarded ass rich people like this are disconnected from reality.
Think voter ID at the end there?
Don't most democracies do it the wrong way? What?
No, I think that she thinks most democracies don't require photo ID.
Yeah, okay.
I think she doesn't know anything about the world.
Yes, I think that's a good.
I think she doesn't know anything outside of New
Yeah,
York City.
the
You know,
Cavefish
people
song.
don't have cars, don't have driver's license. What?
Well, I guess let's go with that. So again, I'm just trying to rebut any argument that you may hear.
'Cause I know
but
that I'm a
it
gay
still goes
fish.
back to racism because here's the
Gay
truth.
fish, y'all.
Voter ID is common in pretty much all other major countries, and no evidence of disenfranchisement. It's not even an issue. You have voter ID in Switzerland,
Yeah.
France, Israel, Mexico, India.
Mexico has voter ID laws?
Mm-hmm.
India has like 1.5 billion people, one of the most technologically advanced countries in the world, Switzerland, and then Israel, and that could really go both ways.
Yeah.
So it'll offend.
I'd be willing to bet they probably have them in Palestine.
Only if you're a terrorist in good standing.
Yeah, well, I mean, once they have they'll steal your vote.
Well, that's fine.
It's not like your vote matters, but they're still like they have to make it seem like it's a legitimate election.
It's to keep.
No, I know, but she did an ancestry thing, and it came up, and my God, for someone who pushes as many. As much racial bullshit as Sunny Hostin does, for her to find out that her ancestors, she's descended from slaveholders, was just, oh my God, it was pure cinema.
Keep the Jews out. They don't want Jews voting in their elections, and so therefore.
This is crazy. You got these poor Punjabis. They're dodging trains to get IDs to vote.
I know.
And you can't even just hop on a train here and go down to the DMV and get your real ID.
Yeah.
What is happening?
Okay, sorry.
Don't take over your.
Sorry, I want to.
Is.
I want to get the last one. I got to skip past some of these jokes. I'm sorry.
Claim.
Okay.
If you believe this, then fine. Elections are already so free and fair and secure that, whatever.
Government and industry representatives from the election security community issued a joint statement reflecting a consensus perspective that
He looks
the
like Marty's
2020
dad from
election
Back to
was
the Future.
most secure in U.S. history.
Okay, here's the truth.
He just did a very Donald Trump thing.
I know.
Fired forever.
I know. Even if, let's say that happened to be true, well, then voter ID wouldn't affect it.
Yeah.
Right? No, I would have zero effect.
Yeah,
right?
in other words, hey, if people think that we should have it to the tune of 80-something%, depending on the polls, from Hispanic, Black Americans, everyone, if everyone supports it, and you really want people, because you say it's important for people to trust their institutions, well, they're telling you what they need to trust the institution of voting, right? They want voter ID. So just do it, because the truth is that's complete and total bullcrap. Since 2020, the left has overhauled, completely, fundamentally changed how voting works by normalizing things like completely unverified, mass mail-in.
That's going to be part of the show on Saturday.
Everybody. I got one sent to a house that I hadn't lived there for half a decade. Still no idea if I voted from there in Michigan or not.
One got sent to my house in Tacoma, 2024.
There you go.
Luckily, I knew the people that bought my house, and they, I guess, tore it.
Yeah. So unverified mass mail-in ballots, unsecured drop boxes, ballot harvesting, no verification, of course, the questionable signatures, and of course, no ability to bring forward any proof that something might be questionable. And now the Democrats are just as mad about the FBI raiding Fulton County for the 2020 ballots as they are about voter ID. Also, they're just as mad as Democrats were in the Fulton County election with Stacey Abrams, because there's a documentary on HBO called Kill Chain that you can go watch where they hack the machines and say it was a fraudulent election. But ignore that.
Georgia guys are
This is
still
all
so
true.
mad right now. They're challenging the FBI seizure of the records. This is breaking, apparently, on CNN right now as we talk about it.
Yeah.
They just want to not let the federal government look into it so badly.
It's like, hey, we want to challenge the integrity of the election there because you guys did a whole documentary about it and proved that it could be tampered with.
This guy's on
we
lithium.
challenge your challenge.
No.
Dude, if you were actually doing the right thing, wouldn't you be like, yeah, here you go, take them.
Sure.
Exactly.
Publish their findings.
Yeah.
Publish. Let me know when it's done. We'll put it on the news.
Yeah.
What were we going to say, Noodles?
It's like if my kid steals a piece of candy and I ask him if I can go in his room to check for a wrapper, and he's like, no, it's not in there. No.
Dad, I think you stole the candy.
Whatever you do, don't go in the closet. That's my closet.
We were there with you live. And here's the problem. Like, it was the biggest election stream in the world.
Yeah.
And we gave you information that turned out to be wrong because in real time we were told that a pipe burst. And that's why the counting had stopped. Do you guys remember that? Were you comment if you were one of those
Yeah,
people
I was up late that night.
Like, oh, okay. We left, went home, took a nap, got called. Came right back in about 3 hours later, and turns out no, it wasn't a pipe burst. No accountability. That alone is hold on a second. Voting stopped.
Somebody peed on the. No.
Just if you're talking about the chain of custody, like there are litany of problems here. And remember, if President Trump had won Georgia, Arizona, Pennsylvania, it would have completely changed the 2020 election. The vote margins: 10,000 votes in Arizona, 11,000 in Georgia, 81,000 in Pennsylvania. And what's most interesting and the most free, fair, secure election of all time is people left the Democrat Party, voted for Donald Trump. He won all of those major swing states.
But at the same time, I'm very glad that it happened the way it did. While the last 4 years were awful under Biden, it showed us a lot. Because did you notice instantly all of the protests, all the violent protests stopped? People still disagreed with him, but nobody was violent besides January 6th. But they got everybody, even people who weren't committing any crimes, even people who were just there, except for Nick Fuentes.
We're supposed to believe that those people who had had enough of the Democrat Party were energized by Joe Biden.
Yeah.
But again, we wouldn't have JD Just Dance fans.
Flipping the numbers, exactly, and then went back to Trump. You would have to have hundreds of thousands of those people in these swing states for it to make sense, because it's a trend that has occurred nowhere else in nature.
Not only flipping, he had the most votes of all time.
Yeah.
I refuse to believe that Joe Biden received the most votes of all time.
Right. And the most votes of all time, taking it from Donald Trump, who people voted for, lifelong Democrats. I'll go back to, you know what? I lost faith, but it's been restored by Joseph Biden.
Don't forget
And then,
that.
you know what? No, I lost confidence again. We're going to go back to Donald Trump in record numbers. Or you could go, hey, people broke with the Democrat Party because they became elitist. And that hasn't changed. They've become increasingly elitist. The only thing that changed wasn't people's enthusiasm for the Democrat Party, but the voting laws changed during COVID, completely unprecedented, no way to verify it, and then there were watchdogs in the next election, and it went right back, plus more votes for Donald Trump. Which one do you think is more likely, beyond, of course, the fraudulent addresses that we verified for you and all of the voting anomalies and the media bias? Which one do you think is more likely? I don't believe that the 2020 election was legitimate. I don't believe that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. And I don't believe you can change your gender. Oh, and I don't think the COVID vaccine was anywhere near as effective as you were told. Okay? I question all of it. Anyone who claims to be conservative and doesn't at least I immediately question, like, you really free and fair? Really?
Yeah.
Really? Epstein, what we were told? Really? Okay. Oh, you'll allow people to change their gender if they're grown up because they can do whatever they want to do? I don't know if we actually share the same values. Here's the next claim that you'll see. And I don't even, they say that states can handle this. It's not a federal issue. Bullshit. Here's the truth. The states are the ones that are facilitating fraud. And if California wants to have fraudulent elections, or if they want to have fraudulent elections in Georgia, which, by the way, the entire left was complaining about in the Stacey Abrams, I believe it was Kemp.
There should
Kemp.
There should be no state laws about voting in the national election. Do whatever, and honestly, voting should be the one thing that's federally mandated. There should be state procedures in place in case the national government becomes such and such, but it should be voted on 70%. Something to that effect, but every state has to have the same voting procedures. That should be the one thing that the government should mandate for the states, as far as I'm concerned.
Election. Go watch it if it's still available on HBO Max, whatever it is. Kill Chain.
It's from 2018, I think.
2018.
Like yeah.
Everyone
Sorry about
was
the coughing.
on board. Okay. All right. They want to have fraudulent elections? Fine. We don't want that for the nation. How about that? This is not a state issue if it affects a national election. For example, in California, they prevent localities from asking for voter ID.
Yeah.
They don't just not do it. They tell other people, you can't ask for it. And then you go back to why? Something racism.
Because there's no voter fraud. That's why they can't ask for it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's already safe.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
fine.
totally
Let's just
fine.
use ID. You know, like I do if I go buy a pack of Cools. No. Why?
Why?
It is a racism thing.
Donald
Yeah,
Trump
something
right now,
racism.
Republicans, and he's actually calling for the GOP to nationalize the federal election process. What they need to
Exactly.
do right now, exactly. I don't know all the mechanics behind that, but what they need to do right now, end the filibuster and make sure that you pass the SAVE Act. I don't care. You would win overwhelming support by doing that because everybody supports this.
Let's phrase that another way.
Listen, mechanics, I get it.
The fascist Donald Trump is trying to nationalize national elections.
Yeah. The fascist Donald Trump wants more people to vote. He wants to make sure that the American people's voices are
Again, I
heard.
repeat this. I have never heard a valid argument. School vouchers. The money follows a student instead of given to a corrupt school. Deporting all the illegals who are currently in our jails and committed additional crimes. They shouldn't be here. Requiring voter ID. Those three. The left actively fights against them. And their reasons obviously make no sense.
They're stupid.
But you can understand the motivations. And the motivations would be, well, school vouchers. That would remove a lot of power from some of the most powerful lobbying groups in this country.
Yes.
The teachers' unions, public education. Deporting all the illegals in jails, that would really just be something where, honestly, I don't even see what the motivation is. I don't even see what the motivation, I don't get it. Voter ID, that one's obvious. The motivation would be it makes it harder to harvest votes. It makes it harder to cheat.
Yep.
Oh, you're still here? And you're still
and them not letting you deport violent people in jails. I don't understand it. I think they want chaos in the streets. I think they want you fighting for these horrible people and trying to make it seem like you just don't like brown people. That's not the case. They want the violent people out, and if they find anyone who is illegal with them, then they get them out of here. That's what law enforcement's supposed to do. Parents get separated from kids when their parents break the law, especially when they put said child at risk, as is the case of that little blue-bonneted kid that's been in the news for the last few weeks. But anyway, guys, I am all out of time. That's this has been more of an informative show. Crowder does great work. Get on over there and support him. I like him because even though I disagree with him on a lot of things, he is very fact-based, especially on these claim truths. So get on over there and show him your support. I don't have a mug yet. I need to get a mug. I like it. I just do. It looks like a good mug. But I like it because he doesn't take big money. He's the size he is, and he does it all on his own. He's got some friction between some of his old co-hosts. I've disagreed with him on a couple of those, but again, I care about the facts. He can be a shitty person, whatever, sure. But does that change anything about what he says? But anyway, guys, I've been Alfie Animus. This has been the Associated Guest and the Bear in Mind channel. Thanks.